Oh, give me one moment. Okay, so good morning and welcome to today's author celebration. I am Manuela, and I'm so excited to be here with you bright and early to spotlight a compelling new voice in fiction, the best-selling author Sonia Nicholson. And
Thank you so
today
much for
we're
having me.
thanks to you, Sonia. Today we're diving into her captivating novel Provenance Unknown, story of mystery, motherhood, and the journey that takes us from Canada to the heart of Paris. So, Sonia, welcome. Congratulations on the success of Provenance Unknown. And now let's start with this. So, first of all, tell me what inspired this story.
Yes, so this story actually took a long time to come to fruition. It took me 10 years to finally write it. I had plotted it out 10 years before I actually wrote it, just because life happened. But in terms of inspiration, it is about an archivist, someone who works with historical documents. And that is one of the things that I do by day. And so this story is very much inspired by my work as an archivist and as well by my own adventures in the City of Light, because I've been lucky enough to visit there 3 times. So combining those two passions into a story was something I very much wanted to do. Very excited to have finally done that and have it out there.
Okay, that's great. Well, that's amazing. You certainly created such a unique character in Michelle. But what drew you to write about that story besides your own experience?
Yeah, I wanted to play with this idea of an archivist who doesn't know anything about their own past and doesn't
Mhm.
want to know, which would be very unusual for an archivist because we often become very personally invested in the people that we are researching. And of course, we always want to know our own stories and our own history. So I just wanted to play with that idea and flip it around. And what would happen if this archivist didn't actually want to know anything about her own story, about her own past, and see where that took me?
Wow, that's very interesting because I believe there's also a strong theme of uncovering the past, like both historically and personally. So, what message do you hope readers take away from Michelle's journey?
Mm. I think it's that permission to explore without fear, to
Mhm.
find out your own story, find out about yourself and who you are and what you're passionate about, and to not be afraid to do so, even though it might lead you in unexpected and maybe sometimes maybe not positive ways. But in the end, it's more important to know and to get there and to understand yourself.
Okay, that's so true. I think it's relatable. And in this journey, you take us from Canada to Paris. But how important was the setting in writing this novel for you?
Yes, I've had a friend slash reader who read this say, yes, it is a love story, but also it's really a love story about Paris. It's really a love letter to Paris. And so that's one part of it. But overall, place is so important to this story. Place is almost its own character. And that's a theme that I explore over and over again in my work, not just in this particular book, but across my work. That power of place, the meanings that places can carry for us in our lives. And so Victoria is very much in there, and Paris as well. And it's the places that have meaning to me, the places where I live, work, and play. And as an archivist, how I can walk the streets here and I can picture how the city looked 50 or 100 years ago, because I've seen all the photos of it in my own work, and just looking around and thinking about who was here before and what their lives were like and how their lives might intersect with my everyday life. So place is almost its own character in this story, whether it's Victoria, British Columbia, where I am, or Paris.
Oh, that's very important. Also, that's kind of the magic of novels that it can let you through so many magic places and just feel them. That's great. And Well, now before we keep going, I want to take a moment to recognize Sonia's incredible success because Provenance Unknown has officially hit bestseller status in four categories in both the USA and Canada. So, congratulations.
Hey.
That's amazing because in the US, it's a bestseller in small town and rural fiction, mothers and children fiction, and also Kindle store. That's amazing. And also we have Canada because in Canada we have clean and wholesome romance and small town and rural fiction and also Kindle store. So that is no small feat. So congratulations again to you, Sonia.
Thank you, thank you. That's very exciting, and it's a new milestone for me as a writer and author. So thank you so much to She Rises for helping me get there.
That's amazing, Sonia. And I think that one of the things that led you to this success was that you write with such heart. But what was the most emotional scene for you to write?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. I tend not to dwell on the emotional scenes, but I think there's a couple, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I think when Michelle finally finds the full truth about her own past and is ready to hear it at the same time. So there are a lot of big emotions in that scene for sure, and that's such a focus of the whole book, right? Her journey and where she ends up and accepting her past and coming to terms with it all. And so when all the pieces finally come together and she not only hears it but accepts it, I think that's huge in terms of emotion in the book. And if I may, kind of on the flip side, more not the like that heavy emotion, big emotion, but um, also on the other end, like the fun and frivolity. There's a couple of scenes in Paris that I call my fun and frivolity scenes, and it's that escape part and the romance part and sort of just forgetting everything and being in this swirl of everything that is Paris. And so there's a scene like that I always come back to for different reasons that I quite love.
Wow, that's amazing. And we have all this emotional weight, but I'm curious about how did your background and personal life influence this book?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I'm a history person. I always have been, and again, looking at the present and looking at the past, and almost, as an archivist, it's like a superpower. You can see through time, and so that was such an influence for me to bring it all together, to use history and all of that as a vehicle to tell the story. And on top of that, in terms of my own background, I also have a degree in French, so that actually also had had a big play in putting this story together. As my background in languages and traveling to Paris and working as an archivist and layers of history and knowing the stories of Victoria and Paris and just bringing that all together, tossing it all in the salad bowl and coming out with this beautiful story. And so that's a bit about how I got there.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, we have theories in the French degree, so that's very interesting. And these questions that I think most of us might be wondering: do you think that will there be a sequel or another book in the same universe?
Mm, yeah, my plan was not. And
Mhm.
it kind of still is not. However, never say never. And I've had a number of readers ask me, after getting to the end, saying, "Oh, but what's next? I want to know what happens with Michelle and the love interest and,
Mhm.
where they end up and what's happening." So I could perhaps be persuaded because the question has certainly come up. So we will see. To be determined.
Okay, we will see.
We will see.
Okay, thank you so much, Anya, for that. And thank you as well for sharing your heart, your story, and your voice with us today. I believe we can wait to see where your journey takes us next, even if it's a sequel or not. And to everyone watching, Provenance Unknown is available now on Amazon. So you can go grab your copy and like fall in love with the story, like so many readers already have. And we'll see you at the next author celebration. So thank you so much and bye for now. Thank you,
Thank
Sonia.
you.